Hi, this is Carrie Brothers back with you from Child Development Resources. We are going to be talking today, we're going to be talking today in this module about the professionalism in early childhood. We think a lot of times about professionalism in business, but there is a different type of professionalism that is necessary in successful and quality child care. So we'll be talking about some of those issues today. Let me see here. All right, so the first question we have here on this PowerPoint is what makes a professional? Just looking at any field in general, not just the early childhood field, but in any field, you need to be presenting yourself well. You need to be representing your profession well. And this is going to be through your appearance, and this is going to be how you communicate with other people. Another thing that is going to make a professional is your knowledge of the field. In just the same way that we cannot expect or want a doctor to be taken care of us without knowledge of current medicine, we also need to be up to date and have a good deal of knowledge about the field of early child development. Quality of our work, if we're here, we have got to do our best. We have got to do the best job that we can for these children. The relationships you develop with others, and again, in every field this is important. In the early childhood field, the relationship you develop with parents is important. The relationship that you develop with other colleagues is important, with your director is important. And really the most important relationship, of course, in the early childhood field is the relationship that you develop with other children, or with the children. Your work ethic. Do you show up on time? Do you do your best? How do you treat others? Determination and dedication. Are you dedicated to it? Is someone in business dedicated to what they're doing in business, or a librarian dedicated to what he's doing in the libraries? You're in the early childhood field. Are you really and truly dedicated to the growth, the healthy growth and development of young children, and your part in it? And then, of course, your attitude is very, very important. If we go into this thinking that it's just babysitting, or you're just doing this to get a paycheck or something like that, you're not going in there as a true professional. So those are some of the things that do make true professionals. Now it's time to get passionate about how to present ourselves and others to others and represent the early childhood field to society. So whether you have been in the field for a very long time or you've just been in the field for a week or two, then this information is for you. And most of you probably are new. That's why you're taking this course. This is Introduction to Child Care, and it's required, or something similar to this is required for part of your training. There's 6 key steps that lay the framework of your professionalism. Looking the part, acting the part, knowing your stuff, being there on the job, saving the comments, and taking care. And so we'll go through and discuss each of these starting now. The first thing here is looking the part. I have to say that personally, I just don't care personally a whole lot about dress. I would be happy to run around in shorts and t-shirts and ponytails all the time, but because I work in an office, I do have to dress the part of an office person. And that type of dress is going to look different generally than the dress that you're going to see in the classroom. When you're working with kids, you need to know that you are going to be moving. You should be moving anyway. And you're going to get messy. And you don't need to wear clothes that are nice, super nice, and that are going to get messed up. That's just going to be aggravating. You're going to be on edge, not wanting to do things that you need to do because you're trying to save your clothes. You don't want to wear torn clothes and things like that, but you do need to wear clothes that you're comfortable in, that you can move in, and that you don't mind getting some paint on them. So some tips for appropriate dress. One is you've got to make sure that your clothes are modest, okay? Not revealing. And I know that there's a little bit of room for interpretation on this, but wear, make sure everything is covered that needs to be covered. And if there's any question, err on conservative with this. We want to be modest in how we dress because we are representing your center, but also because we're modeling for the kids how to respect their own bodies, and so we need to do the same as well. If you have any questions about what to wear, your director would probably be very happy to guide you in that way. Again, if there's any question, err on more professional rather than less professional. Now, again, when you're working with kids, it's going to look different. Some people may wear scrubs or something like that. I know a lot of centers do that. Where I worked before, we really had a lot of freedom in what we wore. Some people just have different rules based on this center. But if there's any question, err on the side of professional and err on the side of modest. Choose simple clothing. And again, I don't know why I put this on here twice, but select clothing that allows you to move around easily and comfortably. This really is important. If you are wearing, even though it's a modest skirt, if you're wearing a skirt that makes it difficult for you to sit down on the ground and cuddle with a child or read to a child or play blocks with a child, it's probably a skirt that you need to save for the weekend, for church, or for going out and enjoying dinner with friends. Save clothes like that for later on. Put on clothes that'll be not interesting. Put on clothes that will be comfortable for you to move around and be a good teacher in. Of course, and y'all know this, don't wear dirty things, don't wear stained things, don't wear ripped things, even if that is the current fashion. I honestly don't know what the current fashion is right now, but wear things that are clean. Wear things that are that show that you know how to take care of things. Again, have proper coverage. Don't let undergarments show through your clothes when you bend over, so be very cognizant of that. Also, avoid wearing clothes that are going to have small buttons, other small pieces that could fall off and become a choking hazard. If you're dealing with older kids, preschoolers, 3, 4s, and 5s, this probably won't be a major issue, but you're probably working in the same building as infants and toddlers, and this is an issue. They put everything in their mouth. Buttons do pop off of things, so be very, very careful on what you wear to make sure it's actually safe for all the kids that you'll be around. Okay, this is an issue. Okay, what to wear with shoes. I'm going to basically say that most of the time, the best type of shoes to wear are tennis shoes. I don't know if this might be good for you, this might be bad for you. I love to wear tennis shoes, so it's not an issue. They need to be comfortable, they need to fit well, they need to prevent slipping and things like that. Things that you don't need to wear. And there's no law against wearing these things, but again, think about keeping the children safe and keeping yourself comfortable and keeping yourself safe. High heels, that's going to be a bad idea around children. Flip-flops in the summer and the spring are tempting. I'm not going to say I've never done it before myself, but probably not the best thing to wear around kids because the traction often is not as good. I tend to wear cheap shoes, and so flip-flops will fall apart. If you have to run in an emergency or something like that, flip-flops aren't going to get you real far real fast. So don't wear high heels, don't wear flip-flops or sandals, and then of course be very careful again with the traction on your shoes, because you are going to want shoes that will provide that traction. If you don't want to slip, that would be terrible to slip at work. Alright, so here we go, jewelry. Minimize jewelry, don't wear a whole lot. Remember, you're not in an office, you're not at a party, you're working with children. I would say go minimum. I don't wear a whole lot of jewelry anyway. If you're a big jewelry person, maybe wear, wedding rings or a little necklace or something, but just avoid excess with that. And also be cognizant of how the jewelry might injure the children. If you're cuddling with toddlers and you wear a necklace that's kind of pokey, it might actually hurt the kid or get tangled in their hair. So be aware of things like that. If it's something that you're not aware of and you wear it to work one day and you see that you're having problems, don't wear it to work again. You're smart, you know that. Kids are gonna, at some age in babyhood, they're gonna start yanking at jewelry and stuff. You don't want them to strangle you accidentally. You don't want to have to deal with being uncomfortable or taking it from the child. So be aware, again, of those developmental stages that we talked about in an earlier module. That is so important. These kids are curious and they want to know what you have, and they're going to try to take it. So be careful. Okay, and leave jewelry that you don't want to lose at home. If you have something that is a family heirloom, don't wear it to work. If you have a nice pair of diamond or pearl earrings that your husband gave you or your boyfriend gave you 5 years ago on some special anniversary, don't wear them to work. Save those, again, for, personal time. So, hygiene shouldn't be an issue. Hair should be clean. You need to be well groomed. Your hair needs to be pulled away from your face. Don't let it fall in your face. Some centers actually do have policies about hair when you're working with food, because nobody likes to have food in their hair in their food. That's just kind of gross. So just, again, be aware of your hair and how your hair is representing yourself and representing the center and the cleanliness, really, of the place that you're at. Keep yourself clean, bathe regularly, wear clean clothes. Don't wear cologne and perfume. This is a big one. I would say even like super smelly lotions or Purell or things like that. Remember, people have different sensitivities to smells. Some people actually get headaches when they're around a lot of perfumes or super smelly things. So keep things like that to a minimum, or don't wear at all. People who are kind of feeling a little off or something are going to be extra sensitive to smells as well. Tattoos, this is kind of a preference thing, a personal preference. If you have them, talk to your director about how to handle them. If you're thinking about getting one, talk to your boss and see what might be appropriate and where you are. Let your program's culture guide this aspect of your appearance, because this might not be a big deal, but it might be a big deal of where you are. Whereas the clothes and the cleanliness and the hair is one thing. The tattoo is more of a preference type issue. The next thing we're talking about here are fingernails. I am a person who does not take care of my fingernails, and so this isn't necessarily a great one for me to talk about a whole lot. But again, you want your nails to be clean. You want to be able to perform your work. So if they're so long that you're having a hard time, coloring with the kids or playing in the Play-Doh with the kids, they're too long. Shorten them so that you can play with the kids the way that you need to, and be sure that they are short enough that you can clean under them pretty easily at work. So a lot of people like to grow their nails or use artificial nails, and again, that is something that may be more for your personal life here, because they can hurt kids. We've probably all hurt children accidentally with jewelry, but nails are a big thing. You might accidentally scratch a child, and you don't want to do that. They're going to collect dirt, food, bodily fluids, all types of bacteria. So keep them, so really consider whether or not manicured nails or longer manicured nails are a great thing. They may actually hurt you, and the paint on them may chip on the food and on the floor, and that would just kind of be disgusting. So be sure that you really consider these things. Think outside of you. Think about what is best for the children that I'm working around. All right, so acting the part. Acting professionally takes consistent effort, and doing the right thing is not always easy. Sometimes you're going to have to do the right thing even when teachers around you are not doing the right thing, because you want to be the professional. You do want to be a professional. You are a professional. You care about children, and that's why you're in this field. Don't let yourself get sucked into complacent behavior. All right, so do you act the part? Do you act the part? Are you acting appropriately and representing the early childhood education field well? Some basic things that are good that you need to know for this field, for other field, or for life. Be on time. Show up on time. Leave when you're supposed to. This is important. If you are coming in halfway through the day and you're 20 minutes late and the person that you're replacing had a doctor's appointment, now you've made them late for their doctor's appointment. So show up, be responsible. Get enough sleep. We all know that when we don't get enough sleep, life gets difficult. We might be able to handle it for a day or two, but after a while it catches up with us, and it's very difficult to function on little sleep. I know for me, everything just starts getting foggy in my brain, and I start getting very irritable very, very quickly. Things that normally I would be very patient with, I tend to have a short fuse on. Get enough sleep. Be polite. Be polite to your colleagues. Be polite to parents coming in. Be polite to the kids. Don't be rude to the kids. I have been in places before where the adults just did not treat the kids with respect. So do treat the kids with respect. Be polite to them. Talk to them. Be friendly to them. Of course, you'll remember their names pretty quickly, but try to get a good handle on parents' names and things like that. And then, of course, having a sense of humor. You're going to have those days where everything just goes wrong. You're going to have those days where just everything goes wrong, and you just have to kind of laugh at it. The kids are going to do great things, funny things. You need to be able to laugh at those and really enjoy those things with the kids. All right, so the point that was made here is you don't have to be friends with everyone at work, but you do have to be friendly. And this is true. You don't have to be buddy-buddy. You don't have to hang out after hours and things like that. But you do have a relationship, a working relationship with them, and you do have to be friendly. You do have to be respectful. So acknowledge them. Call them by name. Say hi to them by name. Show an interest in them. If you see that they're struggling with something and you have the ability to help, offer your help. If they have their hands full and need help getting through a door, open the door for them. Okay, smile at them, admire them, tell them some things that you like what they're doing. Don't let little things about them bother you. Everybody has little quirks and little things that annoy other people. Just look over the small offenses. Share with each other, and be polite. So these are some things that you can do, or some reminders, I guess, because you all know these things, but these are some reminders and some ways that you can be friendly with people at work, even if you're not friends with them. Remember, they're human. Y'all are all in this together. You are all working towards a common goal, and that is to take care of these precious children. Remember, when you have relationships with people at work, whether they are your friends or whether they're just colleagues that you are being friendly with, you are modeling, hopefully, healthy relationships to the kids. A lot of these kids that you have may not be seeing healthy relationships any other place. And you may be their sole source of what an adult healthy relationship is. So show it and model it to the kids. Okay, center communications. I will tell you, one of my many weaknesses is that I have a hard time actually reading through emails in their entirety, and so sometimes I do miss out on important information. So I'm going to say, learn from my mistakes and read all center correspondence and communication given to you, and don't just read the first sentence or two. Read the whole thing. Read the whole thing. You don't want to miss out on a party. You don't want to miss out on a deadline. You don't want to miss out on a responsibility. This is important for your work with colleagues, and this is actually important for your work with the kids as well, because you don't want the kids to miss out on things. Learn the information that is communicated Don't just read it, but actually grasp it. If you have any questions, ask. And if the message that you get is giving you a deadline or requesting something from you, like filling out a form or reading a new policy or something like that, communicating with a parent, do it. Do it as soon as you get the direction from your director to do that. So there are all different types of communication that you can expect from your director. I won't read all of these here, but you need to be, I will read all of them. You need to be familiar with staff handbooks. You need to be familiar with benefit information, memos, newsletters, performance appraisals, licensing, accreditation standards, policies, curriculum ideas, health and safety information, evacuation procedures, and tracking sheets on kids. I was, for the purpose of time, not going to read all of those, but I did read them because they're all important. These are all things that you need to be looking for. This type of communication is probably going to be coming from your director at a fairly regular pace, and so you need to be looking for these things and be reading them. I would even add on to here parent handbooks. Even if you don't have a parent in the center that you're at, you need to know what parents need to know as well. So keep up to date with all of this stuff. The next thing here is a big one, and that is confidentiality. And this really is a very, very important part of professionalism. People have rights, and they have rights to privacy. And you, as a teacher, may have information about a child or about a family that is private, that you just don't need to share with other people. I've had my confidentiality breached in the past couple of years with an issue in my life, and it was very hurtful. It was very hurtful. I have not taken it to the person who did it, but it was very, very hurtful. And I know from having experienced that I don't want to do the same thing for another family. I had some information, I had an experience that I didn't want other people to know, and it was shared, and now it's no longer a secret, and that is not good. Okay, so how do you know what is confidential to share with others and what is confidential and what is not confidential? Well, one thing you need to remember is you don't need to know everything about a child and his family in order to care for the child. Parents will tell you what they think you need to know when you think you need to know it. Trust that the administrator of the program will give you information that you need to know. If the family is going through a divorce or separation, or somebody in the family is dealing with some type of addiction, this is probably information you need to know. It won't necessarily affect the quality of care you give the kids, but it may give you a better understanding of how to help the child. So just know that the information will come to you as it needs to come to you. Honor information that your supervisor deems confidential. Okay, if you sense or your supervisor tells you that it's confidential, keep it confidential. The exception to this is that if you hear of that somebody has put another person in physical danger, at that point you can take it to a higher power. You are in a job that actually mandates that if you suspect abuse or are told of abuse or something like that, that you report. You're a mandatory reporter. So be sure that you understand that. Okay, so confidential information is used to help others, not to judge them. You may have information about a family and you may think, oh my goodness, I cannot believe this parent would have done this, or this is a terrible situation. What could they have done to, so bad to have got into here? That's not the purpose of confidential information. The purpose of confidential information is to be able to help the kids and to actually be able to help the parents as much as possible also. Don't pass judgment on people because they are in a difficult circumstance. Whether it is a circumstance they put themselves in or not, don't judge. This is not the place to judge. All right. Early educators' do's and don'ts. Okay, in the classroom, don't break the rules, don't use profanity, Be appropriate. Don't talk on the phone or text during work. Big one. Okay, don't make inappropriate gestures with your hands. Don't eat or drink in front of the children. Watch out with hot beverages in front of the kids, mainly because you're not supposed to have beverages around the kids. If you smoke, of course, don't do that on school property. You know that. Don't watch television on your phone. Don't watch Netflix or Amazon or whatever, or listen to personal music. And keep your attitude good. Don't have a bad attitude. All right, step 3, know your stuff. Okay, you're in the field now. You need to keep current on what type of information that you have. You need to know things like child development. Why do you need to know child development? Well, you need to know child development because you're teaching children, and you need to know what children are capable of and not capable of at different ages. This will help you to prepare lesson plans, and this will help you to prepare better able to cater things to the group needs and to the individual child's needs. You need to know about curriculum. You need to know teaching techniques, classroom management skills, assessment, teamwork, family partnerships, and health and safety. These are all things that you need to keep up with. I do a workshop on professionalism and keeping current in the field. I'd actually attach to this module a list of sources that you can look at, blogs and websites and things like that, so that you can keep up to date on some of these things. Make an effort to once or twice a month to read an article from the NACCE website or NACCE magazine or some reputable source, so that you can learn more about these different things. You're not going to grow if you don't know, and if you don't know where to get information from as well. All right, everyone comes to the profession with different experiences and with different knowledge. Okay, if you come into teaching and you have got a college level degree, you probably are going to have some type of head knowledge above a lot, maybe someone who has got a GED. But the person with the GED or lower education may have, many more years of experience with kids and in the classroom. So just know that people do have different knowledge bases because of different histories, because they have different levels of education or experience. The training you bring to the job, but you need to know that the most information you're going to get, the most important information you're going to get, is from being on the job. On-the-job experience and training it's really unavoidable. You're just going to learn just from being there and doing it. So your desire to commitment to continuous learning and training is critical. All right. Okay, I was in the classroom for 5 years. I know many of you have been in the classroom. Well, no, y'all are just starting off, so you haven't been in the classroom long. But I will tell you, one of the things that you are going to see is that you're going to go through ruts. You've been through ruts in different areas in your life before, and you're going to go through ruts in the classroom, and you're going to feel like, oh my goodness, why am I here? I'm not moving forward. Everything's the same day after day. You can't do that for very long because you're going to work yourself out of a job, or you're going to make yourself miserable and everyone else miserable around you, and you don't want either of those things to happen. Change your attitude. Okay, that's one way to push through it, right? Sometimes you just, mind over matter, say to yourself, I'm going to like this. I'm going to find joy in this, and then do it. Think like a child. We so many times are up, 2 feet above the kids, and we're seeing like an adult. Get down on the child's level and think, what is really going on in this child's head? Sure, they're building, but what is really going on their head? Or sure, that kid is putting beads on his fingers, beads that are supposed to be threaded. What is he thinking when he's putting those on his fingers? Think like a child. Realize that no one knows it all. Realize that everyone is going to go through bad days. Okay, seek knowledge from many sources. Talk to people who have been in the field longer than you have. Read magazines. Maybe listen to podcasts, watch videos. Getting new information or being reminded of information that you already know and are passionate about helps. I skipped number 4. Take small steps toward a big goal. Have a big goal in mind and start moving in that direction. When you learn stuff, use it. Teach what you know to someone else. If you have someone, a newer employee that comes in, teach information to them. Teach information that you know to the kids. Okay, if you have old information and then you get this bunch of new information, how do the two tie together? Discuss ideas and discuss problems with others. Join professional organizations, attend conferences, read. Eliminate your excuses. I have worked places before where there are just a lot of excuses. Don't make excuses. Take chances and just keep moving forward. Sometimes there are seasons in your life and seasons in this profession and seasons in every profession where you just have to put one foot in front of the other and keep moving forward. And it's cliche and it's annoying, but it is something that sometimes has to be done. All right, do you actively participate in workshops and trainings? Well, if you're taking this class, you are beginning to do that, and CDR does a lot of trainings. Your director should get our newsletters in the mail, and we love to do trainings. We want you to come to our trainings. Early childhood education requires you to participate in many training sessions and program events. So come. These things, you'll be around people that you have similar interests as you do, and you learn from them. You learn from the people up presenting. You get new ideas. You can commiserate with people. It's just an encouraging opportunity to be able to do this. We're now, developing our online classes, which is great, but there's really nothing like getting together with a live group of people and experiencing it together. So it may be hard to get excited about training when you've worked all day. You've worked from 7:30 to 4:30, and then you have to be at a 6 o'clock training to an 8 o'clock training. But listen, you don't have to do it every night. It's once every 2 or 3 months, and you get such great information from it. Okay? Let's see here. All right, getting the most out of trainings and meetings, because you are going to have to go to meetings as well. Know what the session is about. Take a pen and take notes. Be mentally present and pay attention. Don't be playing on your phone. I've been at trainings. I've hosted trainings before where people were playing on their phone. Don't do that. Really try to pay attention. Actively listen. Ask questions. If you're actively listening, you'll come up with questions, and that will keep you more engaged. Don't talk to each other when the presenter's talking. Contribute your ideas when asked. I will tell you that in my experiences in front of groups of people, whether I'm teaching college students or doing these trainings, when I ask a question in front of a group of people, sometimes small, sometimes large, and nobody replies, it's just very awkward for everybody. Just speak up and say something. And if there is a right or wrong answer and you happen to get the wrong answer, the person in front of the group will probably be very forgiving and work with you and try to make it sound right. So do that. Don't complain about having to be there, and bring an open mind. Bring an open mind to this. All right. Beyond the job. When you're on the job, be prepared for your job. Have your lesson plans done. Go to the bathroom before you get into the classroom, which doesn't mean you won't have to go again a half an hour later, but go right before you go into the classroom. Have everything you need to be be physically and mentally present. If you are having a bad morning, try to leave that outside of the classroom so that the kids can approach you and the parents can approach you and colleagues can approach you, and you can help them and love them and teach them the way that you need to. You always need to keep your eyes on kids at all times. You do not want any escapees, and there are kids who will try to escape. Keep your eyes on the kids at all time. All right, so to be physically and mentally present, don't sit around, don't have your back towards others, don't do lots and lots of paperwork, don't extend to only cleaning up stuff, don't ignore others when they enter the room, don't ignore the children, don't talk about your personal life frequently. And you all know that sometimes you may just have to sit, and sometimes you aren't going to be able to say hi to somebody when they enter the room. Sometimes you might have a small little personal conversation with a colleague. But I'm talking like all the time. Remember, you're here and your job is to take care of the kids. Your job is not to have a social life during working hours with your fellow teacher. Your job is to take care of the kids. And to do that, you have to be present. You have to be present. Don't be sarcastic. Don't be detached. Don't be a loner. Don't work in cliques. Oh my goodness, cliques start in middle school and they go all the way through adulthood. Don't let your workplace be a place where cliques are around. And don't do personal things in the classroom. There, again, are going to be exceptions to this every now and then. But as a rule, try to keep your personal life out of the classroom. All right, so save the comments. Have you ever said things like this or thought things like this? I can't wait till my shift is over. Is it time to leave? When is this child's mother coming? Or saying to the child things like, your dad forgot your glove, or your mom's late again. Or say things to colleagues like, this child is here from open to end, or I'm so tired, or I need a break. I'll just tell you that I probably said each of these things at least 100 times when I was in the classroom, and I should not have. Because none of those are showing a good attitude. All of them may be true, but they don't all need to be said. So show up and have a good attitude. A person with a good attitude knows and expects things that always won't go as well. A person with a good attitude might know that that kid is there from beginning to end, and that kid is valuable from beginning to end. And those parents are probably very hardworking parents that need that kid to be there from beginning to end. So know and expect that things are not going to go the way they should sometimes. Things aren't going to go the way they plan. Things sometimes are going to go the way you expect them to. Accept the situation as it is and work to improve it. So that kid that is there, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., accept it. Accept it and be there and present for that kid, to love that kid. A person with a good attitude is generally happy despite circumstances, sees things and helps without being asked, doesn't blame others when things go wrong, doesn't always have to be right, and really, really works hard and enjoys working hard. All right, so our next thing to talk about here is just bad attitudes. Don't have bad attitudes. Just don't do it. Have good attitudes. Be encouraging. Be uplifting. But here's a checklist you can look at. Are you guilty of any of the behaviors below? You don't listen to people because you think you know what they're going to say next. You raise your voice if people don't hear or agree with you. You monopolize conversations. You think no one ever sees your point of view, and sometimes you talk to adults as if they're kids. Continued is you think you're smarter than everyone else and you're never wrong. If you're wrong, you won't admit it. You take things personally other people do or say. You're always the one doing the work, or no one does the way you would do them. One of the things people have bad attitudes about, I would say, is the income that you get as a teacher. This is not a lucrative field that we're in. It's just not a lucrative field. We're not going to earn a lot of money in this field, most likely. So we complain about how much money we bring in. The thing is, though, is that we knew our salary when we took the job and we agreed to it. Should we work as a field to improve our salaries? You bet. Should you slack off or use your wages as an excuse for not getting the job done? Never. So don't think, well, I don't get paid enough, and so I'm not going to do my job. That is a bad attitude. So don't do that. Just again, be kind and respectful to other people. Listen, don't interrupt. Just kind of basic things that we try to teach children. Do them yourself. All right, how do you stay positive all week long? You're ready for a break at the end of the week. But the question here is, are you guilty of saying any of these things? I need a break. Mom's late again. Oh, I think we already actually did this slide here, and I'm repeating it. I apologize. We're going to move to the next slide here. All right, step 6, take care. It's important to keep in mind that your job of caring for and educating children is much better, much more successful. And you remember, they come with families, okay? And you know, you may be a parent yourself, and that helps also in really understanding the love that a parent can have for his or her kids. So try to remember that as you're taking care of the kids. It is your responsibility to respond to the needs of the children, helping them to develop a sense of trust and security. Remember, they're part of a family. They are people, and they are people who have older and bigger people that love them to pieces. And I think when we can remember that, sometimes it helps us to see them more human. Loving the children. How do you develop a relationship of love and respect with the child? Invest the time, make a genuine effort, push through the negative emotions, tell the child you care, and talk the child up. I was observing a classroom this morning where a child was being taught by the teacher to tie his shoe. And he worked on it, and he worked on it, and he worked on it, and he finally got it right by himself. And there was so much celebration from the teacher, and it was just a beautiful thing to see. She put that effort, she put that time into it. She probably, I don't know if it was me, I would have been getting frustrated, wanting to give up, but she didn't. She persevered, and the child succeeded, and she celebrated with the child, and she loved that child, and that was just a beautiful model of what we're supposed to do. So in order to help a child succeed, we need to know things that are going to help the child succeed. So you need to be consistent with your rules. You need to be consistent with your routine. We need to give them choices. Again, we need to be very familiar with child development, so we have developmentally appropriate expectations. What are they capable at 1? What are they capable of at 2? What are they capable of 3 and 4? And the young 5s. We need to know these things. We need to try to convey directions positively. We need to forgive and know that mistakes are going to be made. Sometimes there are going to be consequences. And love children. Just love children. Love children when they're very, very good, and love children when they're very, very difficult. All right. And these are all things that probably your director has pulled together for you, but you need to know these, kind of be very familiar with these in your head. We need to know the child's name, age, what their routines are, what they're capable of, what type of special needs they have, and I'm just kind of skimming through this. One of the things you really need to have filed away in your head and even noted on the wall and stuff is allergies and things like that. We need to know things like, are mom and dad divorced? Do mom and dad have different last names? Contact phone numbers, typical schedule. Does the mom drop off the child at 7:30 or does she drop the child off at 9:30? Both are pretty reasonable times, but they're still 2 hours apart. We need to know just any expectations that the parent has for the child. Okay, and as you're communicating with the parents of the child, talk the child up. Let the child know that, or let the parent know that the child is great. Make the family be very happy. Don't always give them bad news when they come to pick up the child, because let's face it, there are going to be kids who are difficult all day long. You don't want to tell them, the parents, all the time, all the bad the kid does. Pick out, look for, try to find something good that went on with that child that day, and let the family know that that child is making progress, or that that child has gifts and skills in certain areas. Do that. Make the family feel proud. And I'm not saying you don't have to report difficult behavior and things like that, but don't just give them that. Give them the good stuff, because these poor parents have been working all day long. They don't want to come and pick up a child that has just been horrible all day. So let the parents know that the child is very valuable and that you see them as valuable, and this will make the family very proud. All right, so that is the last slide here. I kind of had to push through it. I had to pause the recording a few times because my voice is beginning to go on me. So thank you for your patience as I've been kind of struggling here a little bit. This should have been the last module that you covered, I think. So thank you again on behalf of CDR for your participation in this course, and thank you for being willing to invest your time in the lives of young children here in Alabama. If you have any questions, again, my name and phone number my phone number, my email address are all on the syllabus. And all right, hope everyone has a great day. And as you finish this up, if you receive the required score for this class, then you will shortly receive your certificate in the mail. All right, thank you so much.